Okay, guys, I'm gonna make this video for you guys. Hopefully, it's helpful. This is gonna be on Mac, so hopefully, this is translate pretty well to Windows. I think the process is roughly the same, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But so the first thing, obviously, to do is to download Zotero. You can just go to zotero.org.download or /download. Download this for Mac. Obviously, you would do it for Windows if you did Windows, and then I like to be on Chrome. If you don't use Chrome, then you may not have this feature, but installing the Chrome connector is very helpful, and I'll show you how to use that later. You're good to go there. While you're at it, I really advise also installing libkey nomad. This is a very helpful Chrome extension, but you can see that it's also for other browsers as well. The way you do this is you just add this an extension, turn on sync. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. Okay, so basically libkey nomad is a really easy way to get PDFs, and I'll show you how it works here, but basically you install it, you select your organization, and now we'll go to PubMed. Nutrition and dietetics. Okay, so you should only have to do this once, although I think this is actually a book. And fasting. Okay, yeah, there we go. So basically it's going to start creating this download PDF button and give you this little thing here. And it's a way to basically get through the whole system much faster, instead of like clicking 1,000 times where it says, get this PDF at Emory and all this stuff. And of course, you still always have these, but I really like this. You can go download PDF. You'll have to sign into Emory's thing once. Oh, although actually it's good to go. But and then you have it right here, ready to go. So you'll always have that PDF, and then you can download it to your system. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys while we're at it is this SciSpace Copilot. This is also a very nice AI-enabled add-on to help you read papers. So obviously just download the add-on for Chrome, create an account. See how specific the field of study gets here. All right, cool, we can add something. And okay, everything's good to go, onboarding complete. And we can now pin this along with our other ones we just installed. And basically what this does is you're going to be able to pull up this side-by-side window, and it's really pretty cool. You can basically chat with it and say, like, okay, explain abstract of this paper in 2 lines. It's going to read the paper, hopefully, and there you go. And you can do very I mean, it's extremely useful to read papers a lot quickly. Methods used in this paper, for example. And of course, you can also just highlight stuff and click like summarize or explain. And you can also do related papers too, which I'll show you that here in 1 second. Okay, so there's the methods in bulleted format, and we're going to say related papers too, and there you go. So there, you can play around with this. There's tons of different features of this, but very exciting. Okay, so we're gonna exit out of that. Clean everything up. Okay. Let's go ahead and install Zotero. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm doing this in a separate login on my Mac, so it's fresh. Hopefully it's all works okay. Okay, so once Zotero is installed, let's open it up. Okay, so right when you open it up, it's going to automatically install the Zotero plugin for Word, which is very, very helpful. Shut down Word here and open it back up, and I'll show you guys how to use that later. So the first thing I recommend you doing is to go ahead and create a sync profile. So I'll just create like an example one here. MHS123. I really hope that I haven't already used this email, but it's possible. Okay, you guys can 2x through this part here. Thanks for registering. Okay. Good to go. Okay, so the best single thing about Zotero, in my opinion, is how well it syncs across platforms. So you can download Zotero to your iPad and your iPhone and your laptop and your home computer and your school computer, and no matter what, it's always going to be the same as long as you have a good syncing kind of platform. So before you really get going too, we can also go ahead and actually, okay, it should automatically set up. Okay, so basically what the Zotero connector is going to allow you to do is when you are in a PDF or if you're on a PubMed page, you can just do this and it's automatically going to communicate with your library on your computer, and you click enter and boom, it downloads the PDF automatically. Sometimes it doesn't, even if you're on the screen of a PDF, it doesn't necessarily download it, which is a little confusing to me, but in those cases, then what you can do is just download the actual PDF and drag it into your library. It's going to look like this for a second, and it's going to read it. If you have duplicate items, which you often will, then you can just go to duplicate items, merge two items, and then now it is one. Okay, a great feature of this I'm going to show you is two ways you can convert old libraries directly into your new Zotero library really quickly. So say if you had a library of a bunch of old PDFs, this could be like several hundred PDFs. You may want to do them like 20 at a time or something, just so it doesn't get overwhelmed and crash. But all you have to do, you can either go to Zotero and do an import, or just drag and drop the PDFs right into Zotero. It's going to read the PDFs automatically, and it's going to get metadata for them, and then once you're there, you have everything you have on your PDFs, and you can pop it open and there's your PDF right there. so I really think the true strength of Zotero is having, and given, I mean, this is in the EndNote as well, but I just think that Zotero does it much better, and they were kind of the first to do it. And also, it being open source, a lot of the bugs get fixed very quickly. But basically, the the best thing is having a PDF and a reference all in one. So if you're somebody who likes to annotate PDFs as well, it's a very, very helpful feature. They have all these annotation features, highlighting and leaving, little notes or whatever, or comments. That you can play around with this. There's all kind of things you can do. And again, as I said, one of the best things is that as soon as you sync your accounts, all of these annotations carry over on a PDF forever, as long as it's in your library. So very cool. Okay, so, and then the other thing is say that you are transitioning from EndNote, which I did a year ago or so. All you have to do is say that you have this, library here, and you want to get it right into Zotero. What you're going to do is go to EndNote, File, Export, and you can save it as a XML, I think. Let's see, hopefully this works. Save it to the desktop here. Okay. I think that worked. And now we're going to go File, Import. Okay. Let's see how this works. One item was imported. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what happens if we do several of these at once. There we go. Okay, so there's your entire EndNote library. It probably won't generate PDFs automatically, but what you can also do is do this find available PDFs function. If the PDF is open access, then it will usually be able to find a PDF for you. Hopefully I'm not proven wrong here, but maybe a lot of these were not open access. But you can do this. If you also have PDFs, some there for these on your computer, you can just drag and drop them right into the Zotero, and again, it'll read automatically. So you can see variable success rates. Unfortunately, a lot of these were not open access. We'll see how it does here in the end. One of the things also you can do once you get your syncing set up is add a proxy, which is basically you can get Emory's credentials plugged into this, and so I think when it goes to start finding available PDFs, it can attempt to go through Emory's thing, which I'll show you that in 1 second if I can get that set up. Okay, so there you go, and all of these have PDFs. So you can also play around with like any of these up here. Like say you wanted the year that it was published, the date that it was added, etc., etc. There's a lot of different customization you can do, and of course sorting by the columns and everything. And so there's your PDF that it found for you. So we are going to also go ahead and finish setting up syncing. Sorry, I'm kind of really jumping all over the place. Okay, there we go. And now we have our fake account, NHS123, all set up. And what I'm going to show you here in a second is how, you're going to actually pretty quickly run out of space using this Zotero library. I think it's only like, I want to say 500 megabytes or 1 gigabyte or something like that. And so we can update that, and I'll show you how here. But now that we're logged in, you can use those exact same credentials on your laptop. It's going to be your email and your password. You can use it on your NHS laptop. You can use it on your iPad, whatever platform. And as long as you sync, everything will be there. I find this super helpful, especially if I want to read a PDF on the go. It's very, very nice. You should also take a look at in the phone version and in the iPad version of the app, there is a feature where you can convert the PDF. It'll read it and put it into kind of like a reader format, so almost like a Kindle or something, where it just gives you the plain text that you can scroll through. So obviously it doesn't handle tables and figures very well, so you're going to lose out on that, but you can toggle back and forth between the real PDF version and that version on your laptop or on your iPhone. It's very, very helpful if you want to read on the go, and because it's very difficult to read a PDF on your iPhone or something. Okay, let's see here. One of the great things, so now we're going to play around a little bit up here with libraries and everything. So there's collections and then there's groups. So collections are literally just little folders. I don't know. We'll make an oncology one and NHS one, and I'll kind of show you that. So, okay, so I have all these oncology papers here. I can drag and drop those into oncology. It'll stay in both folders because the folder does not necessarily hold the paper per se. It's just an identifier for it. And then you can do these sort of nested variables or nested subcollections as well. So new subcollection, and let's say we'll pull those into there, and now we have that subset, and you can do this ad infinitum, as you can see. So that's really, really helpful. That's pretty self-explanatory how you do things. If you have publications of your own, you can also include them in this My Publications thing here as well. I think that you can make your account publicly available too, and people can download the PDFs, but I don't know how many people actually use that, but nevertheless, that's, kind of how it is. And then you can see there's these auto filters that it applies here, unfiled items, these things that you can use to organize. And then in terms of adding a group, what you can do is add a new group, and it's going to basically pull up a web page for you, and I'll make one called NHS Trainees. Okay. You can choose the membership options, create the group, email address not validated. Okay. Let me validate that email address, and then I will restart this. Let's try this again. New group. NHS Trainees. We're going to do public membership. You can also do closed membership and just invite people. Save settings. There you go. Okay, and the nice thing about this is that, let me sync it here and see if it comes up. Okay, so now you can have these group libraries. So say if you wanted to share a bunch of papers or PDFs with all of us or with your lab or something, you can just drag them into here, do shared annotations, shared bibliographies, and then you can bring them in here and out of here, or into the group library, and then out of the group library as well. So very, very helpful if you want to share things with multiple people. Okay, And then one other feature I forgot to show you with this Zotero connector for Chrome is you can also just say if you're like surfing the web and you are on PubMed and say there isn't a PDF necessarily, you can go ahead and click this and it'll automatically create the citation for you. Or let's do another paper, and so I can show you a fresh example. Okay. It's going to create this snapshot thing, which I guess is just kind of like the plain citation. And actually, the snapshot I don't love because it's basically just the web page. Let's see here. Let's actually go to PubMed Central and see how that works. Okay, so PubMed Central link, and there you go. It's going to have everything in there once you click that button. And likewise, if you are on Google Scholar, let's see. You can pull up a paper and say, now you're on the journal website. Whenever it loads, if it loads. Okay. It's going to create similarly a snapshot, which I find a little bit annoying because it's not super helpful, but eventually you can also just add the PDF too. So I think that you can play around with this. It's pretty self-explanatory. But see, we could add a PDF to a snapshot. And see, this is why I don't love the snapshot feature. It's just kind of confusing. But when you add the PDF, in my opinion, the best way to do this is to just do it when you're on PDFs. It's just a little bit janky when you do it this other way. Okay, so yeah, like I said, here it goes. It's going to do its thing, but oftentimes I get a little impatient with it, and I just end up dragging it directly into the thing. It'll read it, done. And then now, I guess since I did the snapshot, it also created the duplicate item. So let's merge these and merge these. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think that is pretty much all with that stuff. We are logged in, we have syncing set up, so now I'm going to show you how to extend your amount of storage. So this is how you're going to increase your storage. I would immediately suggest right when you get started up going ahead and doing this if you're going to use Zotero long term. I think I know how to do this off the top of my head, but I'll walk through this article too. So just Google WebDAV Kufer Zotero. It's going to come up with an article. I think I watched this video that they link to here, which was pretty helpful. But basically, what you're going to do is create a Kufer account, which Kufer I think is just like an online storage thing, kind of like a Google Drive or whatever. Let me see here. I want to try to avoid using my email that I used for the other one, because I'm doing this in a sandbox mode. Create account. I agree. Oh my gosh, 749486. Okay, let me validate this really quick. Okay, let's see how this looks. I validated it on my email. Hopefully it lets me log in. Okay, cool. All right, so we are good to go now. Once we do this, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm going to go to here, preferences, here we go. Okay. It's a little weird how this works, but you're gonna have basically an app password. It like, instead of just logging into your Zotero, it makes like, or into your Kufer on Zotero, it makes like a unique password. So you're gonna go here, password, and then we'll generate a unique one. I would really advise saving this to like your notes or something on your computer so that it's across devices, because you'll need to use the same you can use multiple ones, I guess, to link to your Kufer, but it's just helpful to only do this once. So you have this, you're good to go, and you can copy this and use it for both your iPhone and your iPad and your laptop and your desktop and all that. Okay, so we now have the app password. We're going to go to Zotero, settings, WebDAV. Think that okay, so they kind of walk you through this here. Okay, app.kufer.net/dav/kufer. Okay, so we have this old password here, which I'm gonna like copy somewhere so I don't lose it. Okay, I've already lost it, of course. I will do this again. I'm sorry, guys. This is a very slow and janky video. You can clearly tell I'm doing this right off the cuff. Okay, so Zotero settings. Apps, app.kufer.net/dav/kufer. Okay, username. I think that is your full email you use for WebDAV, and then your okay, so here's where it becomes different. Instead of just using your regular WebDAV password, you have to use a uniquely generated one, which I don't fully understand the logic of, but I'm not going to complain, I guess, because they give you a lot of storage for free. So type in exactly the password you see there. Verify server. Please work, please work, please work. Okay, of course. Okay. I suggest just copying it. I don't know why I tried to type it. Something with my copy paste is not working. Verify server. It's going to ask you, do you want to create it? Create. let it do its thing. May take a little bit. In the meantime, just make sure this is set to the web app, obviously. Okay, file sync is successfully set up. Awesome. Download files at sync time. Just make sure all these are checked. You pretty much never want to do this reset thing. Okay. Also, there's lots of other settings you can play around with. I think I told you guys about some translator things, which I'll get into here shortly, but you can also change the whole app language if you want. Okay, we're good to go. So now, in theory, I'm gonna sync all my stuff, let it do its thing, pull up this, and let's see. I think that what it should do is create a Zotero folder. Okay, and here is all of our PDFs. Now, I never actually get on Kufer. It's a pretty useless website except giving you storage, but it does increase the amount of storage. So this is a little bit of a pain to set up the first time, but I promise it's very, very worth it because the Zotero storage runs out very quickly as soon as you get to maybe 500 or 1,000 PDFs. And with all of you guys wanting to do research careers, I'm sure you'll have many, many more than those in your library. Okay, so all that is done. A few like other little things that you can play around with in here is, you can go in and actually edit things. So say if you wanted to like edit the any of these informations, the type or whatever, you can do that. I really, really like how user-friendly this is. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can add notes, like sort of meta notes that aren't on the PDF necessarily, but they're on the citation, tags, etc., etc. I guess you can do related PDFs. That's kind of interesting. Okay. The nice thing too is, say if you wanted to cite something that is unfamiliar, the great thing about this app, in my opinion, is that there's so much customization that people will just kind of make this stuff. So I was running into this issue the other day. I wanted to add a clinical trial to one of my papers that I was writing, and as you can see, people like really quickly fix these issues when you post about it. Somebody posted about this several years ago. It's already been solved, but let's go to clinical trials, and here is a clinical trial, and the great thing is you're just going to go to connector, boom, it's done, and it's going to automatically generate this how you want it. So you got item type, report, etc., etc. Whereas this is going to be a journal article, obviously. So it kind of just automatically recognizes whatever it needs to be. If there's tons of different things, but the good thing about the Zotero connector is it should recognize exactly what it is. You can also, of course, create manual entries. So, create any of these linking to files or whatever. So as you are writing something in Microsoft Word, it should automatically create the Zotero connector thing here. So say if you're writing a article, you are first going to want to download the citation style for that. Now the unfortunate thing is that because EndNote kind of has a monopoly on a lot of stuff, usually all journals have EndNote styles, but they don't have Zotero styles. There's a few workarounds for this. This is honestly, I think, is probably the single biggest downfall of Zotero, is just the lack of adoption yet in the broader research community, and a lot of people are still using EndNote. But so you have to tinker with it a little bit to get it to work with that, and that can be frustrating. But the good thing is say, okay, I recently submitted an article to this journal, and I don't think they have a Zotero style. Yeah, okay, they don't. So let's go to like a bigger journal. Say if we wanted to find the style for PNAS, then you can just go to the Zotero style repository, download it, add citation style to Zotero, boom, done. It's exactly how it wants. Again, these are not usually uploaded by the journal. These are made custom by people in the sort of Zotero community, doing it manually. And again, it's not perfectly ideal. Again, I said one of the janky downfalls of this, but say we're writing and we're like, has an effect on aging, much like EndNote. We are pretty much, it's plug and play, very easy. And now you can see that the styles that you added are going to be in here. You can also do manage styles, and it's going to take you to your settings where you can play with these. If you need to actually play with individual styles, say if we wanted to, like, I don't know, create our own style or whatever, you can. Oh, cool. Okay, so you can actually just do the Zotero style repository right here pretty easily. But you can do style editors too. And this is what, when I talk about tinkering, what it's going to actually look like. You have to go in here and edit some stuff. And so you can read about that online a little bit. It's not ideal, but nevertheless. So that is how that works. We are going to write our PNAS paper, and there you go. All you can do is just start citing stuff, and for a single citation you can start adding multiple things. So we're going to add a few different papers here. Done. Okay, and there it goes. At the very end, add and edit bibliography. There you go. It adds your bibliography automatically for you. When you want to edit the citation, you can go in here, add/edit citation. We can add another thing. It'll automatically update. If you have a huge document, like you probably will end up having when we do our scoping reviews, you may want to set it to not automatically update, and you can do it manually, because every single time you add a citation, it's going to have to update the whole thing. So that's something to consider. But I think that the word add-in is very, very straightforward. It's very, very nice. You can refresh, you can link and unlink your citation. I mean, it's very, very user-friendly, very self-explanatory. When you have your bibliography already, it's going to create like a sort of a temporary thing, I guess. Yeah, you can play around with that. And then the other situation I described where we run into something. So say I also, just submitted a paper here, and they requested for me to change the citation style. This is a smaller journal, and so it's not going to you likely have a Zotero style. It has to be decently big for somebody to have actually made it. And so you have your CNS, we're going to do CNS oncology citation style, and you can see it doesn't tell you a ton. You can maybe get the EndNote style. So what I'd like to do in these situations is see who the actual publisher is of the journal itself, and so it's going to be Future Medicine. And you can get some information from their websites. Sometimes people will post on here. Oh, okay, I guess somebody actually did post these. But point is if you cannot find the style, a lot of the times publishing groups will use the same style. So when you're using this, you kind of have to search a little bit, but it will eventually tell you what the style is. There's also some like reverse citation style searchers, kind of. But say this one is Vancouver. Sorry guys, I've really dragged behind here in this. Okay, download the future medicine in that style here. Oh gosh, unfortunately there's no quick and easy like converter for EndNote styles to Zotero styles for future medicine. Okay, future science. You can go to the EndNote site, and it's going to tell you a little bit about the actual citation style, and so you can sort of try to recreate it or whatever. Occasionally it'll say based on, and it'll say, you know, Vancouver or whatever. I'm trying to find out where I actually discovered that this journal used this Vancouver style. Okay, let's take this AIMCC. Okay, so it's very likely, say for example, that AIMCC clinical cases is published by Annals of Internal Medicine. Therefore, you can just use the Annals of Internal Medicine style, future medicine citation style, Zotero. It'll usually give you a example citation, how they want it. But you know, you just have to find this information, like use Vancouver for example, and that's it. I think that if you are really trying to do something, you could go to the journal, like an article published by that journal in the past. And do something like this, backward citation searching. No. CLS Mendeley. Okay, so CSL is this universal citation style language. Maybe that's what it stands for. Search by example, find a style. Okay, so we are going to copy this in. And so say we took this directly from the journal article, then, and we knew what the actual okay. We can give it this information, and it will give you the most close match to what we have entered. It gives you a few different things: perfect match, and so it's likely that a lot of these are just using using Vancouver. I think I've probably confused you guys more than is worth it. But maybe get in touch with me if you need help with this, and I can help you. This is confusing. If you're submitting to a bigger journal, then it might not be the end of the world. And the style repository is actually pretty impressive. We can type in like nutrition, and there's a very good amount of journals on here, and you can find also, like, say if it's a Wiley journal, then, or it's a Elsevier, you can just pick these, and those will usually work. Honestly, it's at the end of the day, it's the journal's job to make sure this is okay, and so they'll often just add the citations for you, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So that is how that works. Okay, so the last thing I think in this rather long video is going to be on add-ons, which I really like. Or plugins, I guess. There are lots of super interesting things out there. I think they're all on this plugins for Zotero page. I will pull up a few of my favorites. This is pretty interesting, this citation counter. And they kind of categorize them, but let's see here. And I don't actually think that 100% of the things that plugins are on here, unfortunately. So you can also Google them. Zotero tag, okay. There you go, and then you pull up the GitHub. So as you can tell, this is a very crowdsourced operation. People just kind of make their own stuff, which I really like. There's Zotfile. Zotero. Zotero, PMCID fetcher, and you can just look for all of the insane amount of add-ons that people have written, but just go to the GitHub page, and you can read about them. But sometimes people give up on these things, so it might not be worth it. Zotfile, I don't think I even use this actually. Zotero, you can read about this. It's kind of a quicker navigation thing. There's keyboard shortcuts I think you can customize. Copying items to clipboard, copy and pasting tags, all of this stuff. So I'll leave that one off. Winding Wind, what is this? This might be the translation. No, this is the PDF preview one. Yeah, okay. PDF preview, and usually the GitHub page will have some nice sort of instructions to download. There you go. You can download it. We're just going to drag these all into desktop as we PMCID fetcher. We'll download this one. Download this PDF previewer. Citation count manager. Let's see what kind of translation. PDF translate. Okay, so there's a few of these, it looks like. Okay, so it seems like this is probably the most popular one, so we will give this one a shot. Okay, so tools, add-ons. Install add-on from file. See if we can do all these at once. XPI, okay. Open. Install. Okay, cool. All these are installed. We're going to restart Zotero. And let's just double check to make sure everything is installed. Okay, yep. It looks like there's also some, information on these. Yeah. I think if you want to play with the actual add-on itself, there might be some interface for that somewhere, and you can enable and disable things, but I kind of like the PDF preview thing because it gives you like a little picture of what it looks like. The tag thing is really cool. I will show you guys in a second how that actually works by showing you it on my real Zotero, but it gives you these color tags, which I find super useful. It also generates all of these automatic tags, which is very, very cool. I think it does this based on reading the PDF, which I just find totally fascinating. And you can like multi-tag stuff too, so if you wanted, CNS neoplasms and neoplasm staging, it just will do all this automatically for you, which is amazing. Now we can look at also title translation, and let's go, where's our citation count, which should come up now that we have the add-on. And if you're confused about how to use any of these, you can also go to the GitHub pages, and those will be pretty informative of what as well. Right click, manage citation counts options, okay. Okay. There it goes, and maybe we can add it now. Okay. So they're stored in the extra field. Okay, so if you really want to see the citation count, you can. Extra. There we go. Okay. And there it is. Let's also show some stuff. There's this fetch PMC ID thing. Say if you needed the PMC ID for some reason, it can automatically do that just by doing that. Let's see, what other add-ons did we install that I want to show you guys. Okay, we did that one. I showed you the PDF preview, PMC. I'm going to show you this tag one here in a second. The translate one, I don't speak any other languages than English, so you guys might have to play around with this, but let's see. Translate title. I think that we're going to have to go to the GitHub page to see how this really works. guess we're all figuring this out together because I've not used this. Default language is the same as your Zotero. Ah, okay. Okay. Edit preferences PDF translate general. Ah, okay, there we go. So now there's going to be, this is in Mac, it'll be like this. In Windows, it'll probably be different, but we can set the language. It looks like translate from English to, I don't know, Korean. Okay. Come on now, come on. I'm going to exit out of Zotero and come back in and see if this works. There's these translation services. You guys might be more familiar with this, and I'm honestly not sure how a lot of this works, but where's my language setting? Okay, we're going to change to French. Now it should work, hopefully. Translate title. Really hope this works. Maybe there's probably some YouTube videos out there about this as well. Well, point is, I think this works clearly well because it seems to be a really popular add-on. I think a lot of the troubleshooting can be found here, which you guys can take a look at. But this is everything. Some people also like this Better Notes one, which you can take a look at. It's like a way to take really in-depth notes on Zotero. I know some of you guys like to do that. I don't really use this much, but you should definitely check this one out if you're into that. Again, there's so much customization. A lot of this just takes a little exploration. I will show you the last thing here, which is how I use my tags. Go ahead and log out here. Okay, so this is my actual library now. This is the Zotero tag add-on I really like. It gives you these color-coded tags, which I guess I'm pretty behind on doing a lot of these, but I think you get 9 colored tags basically, and then it does these automatic tags of course too. But I kind of like to break it into families, so like I type actually the name of the tag is like 1 literature primary, so I have like 2 tags for literature, primary and secondary, another few tags for the type of research, basic science, translational, clinical, epidemiological, and then the methods, and then a model, cells, mice, and then if it's humans, then I just, you know, it being clinical or epidemiological or translational usually implies that it's human. So, and then you can add like, you know, these on, so it's like a quick color coded sort of thing. If you're like, okay, so what is this? Well, this has a blue tag, so this is primary literature. It's not a review, it's an original paper. What kind of research is it? It's basic science. And what model did they use? They use mice. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So if you're writing a review paper or something, it's super helpful, I think, to do like quick categorization. But you can assign the colors and then assign the position, and you can name tag, delete tag. That's pretty much how it works. But anyways, that is about it. And so thanks guys for bearing with me. I know this is a long video with a lot of stuff. Hopefully you just 2x speed through the whole thing. But anyways, hope it was helpful.